Hey, so I'm just gonna read this to you, right? Like, this is like me years ago, but let's check it out. It says I feel, right? Basically, really what it means is an elevated mood, right? An elevated mood. What does it mean to me? It's perfect. So unorganized, despite getting a lot of things done. Like seriously, it's just like I can get a lot done, but it's not organized. It's not, and it's stressed out. Controlled or manipulated by others, family, friend, and support. When I have an elevated mood, I am very willing to just tell you, sure, because it's exciting. Everything's exciting, so what you're saying is exciting, right? No. That's just a mushroom over top of everything that you're looking at. Remove the mushroom and you might feel some core emotions. Uh, Uncomfortable sitting still for more than 15 minutes or staying in one place for more than an hour. I'm better with that, but I like to change it up. My mind starts to get like mind melded, like brainwashed with the same place, right? You know, back in the day, I had an urge to sell my stuff, trade my stuff, buy new items, stuff like that. But I've gotten over it. And, I also love to take things and just, refurbish them. It's a hobby, but it was a little bit too exciting, and yeah, I had to walk away from that. I am able to operate at a higher level of speed and consciousness than others, and that is not what I wrote down. Like this here, this is written from a therapist. Okay, I put this sticker on like years ago. This is a therapist written thing. I didn't write this on myself. Increased libido and sex drive. Now that was before I was medicated. Now, all mood stabilizer medications will affect you. For men, I mean, with erectile dysfunction in some manner or another. So what I want to, okay, like I want to find a quicker way to better my situation. Because the longer the situation is, the more taxing it is on my emotions. It sucks. I want to act in ways that show I am independent and able to take care of my loved ones. And that's true. Manage my life by fixing the problems of the people around me or distracting myself from people causing me stress. Nice little balance there, right? Now, this is what I do, which this is not good, but this is what I do, or did do. I mean, believe it or not, this page, I found it in my files. It's like 6 years old. Come a long way since this, but I get in arguments with others several times a day, and I can tell you why. It's because I am so logical. And when I talk to people, I don't talk to them the way they talk to me. I don't bow to their level. I speak on a higher, literal, logical level. That's usually respectful. If I'm being sarcastic, I tell you instantly. If I'm lying, I tell you when I'm done lying. Like, oh, that's a lie. Like instantaneously, right afterwards. I want to communicate on a higher level than I always have. I wanted everybody else to as well, because I've seen people waste 10 minutes trying to say 45 seconds worth of details and information. 10 minutes, and then they got angry about it because it was a waste of time. That sucked. Double negative. So yeah, that's the arguments. Get sidetracked with new ideas or plans before finishing a previous one. You know how it is. The analogy for that is chain smoking. You haven't finished the first cigarette, but you're lighting the next. Increase cannabis, nicotine, caffeine, and alcohol consumption to slow myself down and or sleep better. True that, yeah. But I'm done with that. I actually got a new med. Or like a med that will assist the initial med that I'm already on. Just try to slow things down a little bit, get more focus. And I believe I have it. Oh, sleep only 2 to 5 hours a night. That was what I used to do. Usually 3 hours and I was done. Just go the rest of the day. Have terrible dreams, and I'm not getting into that. I'm talking like you have a loved one and they're in a situation and they're either being taken over by multiple men. I'm not going to go down that alley, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Or they like light on fire and I can't put them out. Or you see them fall off a cliff and you jump after them, but they fall faster than you and they hit before you do. So you witness it. These are horrible dreams, and my mind used to give them to me every night. Thank God I've found more peace in my life, and I don't have such horrible dreams. Realize after I have finished something that I missed steps along the way. Yeah, it's almost like writing the alphabet, and you realized LMNOP, which is LMNOP, isn't there. It's like shit, and then you basically built the whole house without one pillar, And now you're going to have to tear half the house apart to put that pillar in just to finish it right. It's a good analogy for it. Yeah. And then this one was great. I would frequently lose or forget items because my short-term memory was kind of being taken over by like my speed of life and my consciousness and how fast it processed information. And it's kind of like you're in the middle of a pie and there's 6 pieces and you go in a circle, like on a computer chair. You go slow enough, you can see all 6 pieces, and each piece has a different color, for the analogy. Yeah, when you spin, if you spin too fast, you might miss the green color, or the one piece of that pie. But you spun so fast in your head, it looks like a complete circle, but it wasn't. So yeah, I frequently lose things like my coffee cup, like I didn't know where I left it. My phone charger, just don't know where I last charged my phone, you know, like my vape was a bad thing. Like that was a horrible, man. I lost that every day. Oh, it's kind of my nature to be forgetful. But anyway, if you watch this, I really appreciate it. That was a long time ago. I've come a long way since this. I just wanted to put it on the internet though. This is what I was like unmedicated or just starting my medication. The only thing that's not here is like walking at nighttime. I'd walk a lot. Just because I couldn't sleep and I couldn't slow down at night and there was nothing I could do and nobody will let me be loud in an apartment at 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't want to disturb my other tenants, you know, whether it's outside this apartment or in this apartment. I just wanted to really make this video this morning to kind of say one thing. Is that like, I'm not hiding anymore. If my story or my message can help anybody out there better process and deal with their own issues, to find a better day-to-day life, to create a better wool or a WOL, and basically create a better daily bread. And I know daily bread's a religious term, don't take it that way. The analogy is a loaf of bread. Forget daily bread, just bread. Okay? You make bread every day. And the day that you make, and what day is the make of the bread. Some people have a really shitty loaf of bread by halfway through their day, and they have to eat it for supper. Because when you eat supper, you process your entire day and try to deal with it. Your daily bread is what you are, what you become, what you're going to be tomorrow. The wool is the way of life, WOL. So if you have a bad way of life, you're going to create bad bread. If you have a good way of life, you'll have a good daily bread. And if you have a good daily bread, others will want others will want some of that bread, as in they want you to share with them your day. If you've had a horrible day and all you want to do is bitch, nobody wants to eat your moldy bread. Sorry, I've created an analogy in life for every last thing so I could better process and understand it. Because when you look at something and somebody says, that's an apple, and you look at it and you're like, shit, okay, except that's an apple. That's a narrow-minded, inside-the-box thought. You're accepting at face value as a one-handed thing, but nothing in life is one-handed. I have 2. So yeah, I just want people to understand out there that, like, you are creating yourself. So when you sit back and blame yourself, that is actually kind of a positive thing. But not to blame, to look deep for the problem. Establish how it was created. Give yourself a little blame if you did something wrong, but then encourage yourself to do better, and then that's going to be more than your blame. You can't just blame, and then to do better. No, you have to say, shit, I fucked up. What's the process? What's the process to fix this? We want to break this pattern that started off as an initial thing, and then multiple things, and then pattern, and then habitual or habit. So if you're at habit, you got to break yourself all the way down to that initial. What is causing this repeat to pattern to habitual notion or nature? I rewrote every fucking bad habit I had. Simply with self-manipulation, or some people want to call it self-brainwash. So yeah, some people are afraid of that crap, but really I live a pretty good life. I'm very happy with my life, even though I have nothing. Like I literally live off of like $180 a month. And I survive, and I'm happy. $180 Canadian a month. Yeah, my rent's paid. You know, all the essential, every month, no matter what, if you don't pay it, you'll lose stuff. Like, those are paid. What's left is $180, but I haven't bought food yet. And if I'm not wrong, it takes, I think, $320 per person to feed them nowadays. That number might have went way up because of bread doubling its price and stuff like that. But so anyway, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching it. didn't really make it for you. Everything I put on the internet is so that later on in life I can go back. Because I don't like transfer time. It's easier to upload something and safer and faster than it is to try to transfer from one device to another and then to a drive, which gets corrupted and you lose all your files. But the internet, yes, is more reliable, so putting it up there. Anyway, I am strange, and I am also EGNARTS. I drove a race car, and then when I drove it backwards, I drove a race car. It's a palindrome. I do that with a lot of stuff because I'm really dyslexic. So. Just like, well, okay, I'll conclude it here. It's cute. It's from it's from Plants vs. Zombies, and there's this stun seed. Yeah, if you look at stun seed and then you actually look at it backwards, it says "These nuts." I can't help but to see that stuff. I can't help it. It's just like, it's because I'm ambidextrous. My mind works on both angles. I don't box one way. I box both. That's orthodox and southpaw. I don't ride a scooter with one foot. I use both. Same with a skateboard. You know what I mean? Like I use both sides of my brain a lot. So yeah, I read it forwards, then backwards, and then I read the syllables forwards, then the syllables backwards. Then I look at the middle, if there is one. Sorry, my main topic in life is the alphabet and the basic words built upon it. So long story short, if somebody asked me to define consciousness, I'd say, well, you don't start there. You actually break that apart and start with the first syllable and then tell you what that means. And then all the syllables have a different meaning. And then all the meanings combined together actually create the absolute meaning that that word has become compacted into or evolved into. You know, like cat. And then we have feline. What came first? Obviously the smaller word. Anyway, that's just, sorry, I'm rambling. Oh, that's my study. That's my topic of study. And there's a lot of people out there that are experiencing these, they think they're going crazy because they're seeing these connections and things. Now, psychosis will actually create an ability to see a connection with things that aren't connected. But if there is a logical connection to it, you are not crazy. Your mind is just perceiving things on the level that others are not. See, life is a mutually agreed delusional hallucination. We all mutually agree that this is red, right? But colorblind people would argue. So who's right? See, it's about a mutually agreed. And when I say delusional, I mean that for real. And when I say hallucination, we're hallucinating between like 13 and 17%, I think, all day long. So we're mutually agreeing on this delusional hallucination. Like, this is coffee, right? Yeah. Oh, good coffee. Right now, you believe this is coffee. We have mutually agreed. But even if you look at it, it looks like coffee. Some that don't drink coffee would know this is tea. So now we have a debate. If I can convince you that this is tea, and I say it's tea, we've mutually agreed upon this. But everybody who just agrees and understands and accepts, I feel, is delusional. Because they're not actually thinking outside the box or with two hands. What could it be if it is not? That is the main question that drove me to be so smart. Never accept anything as it is. When there is one way out, there is not. There is always two. When there is no way out, there is always one. There is never, never. And there is always, always, but it's never. Because always is never and never is always. They both don't exist. They're an exaggeration to speak of something that lasts forever, which nothing does. It's beautiful, right? Yeah. When you lose your mind, it's because you're not able to handle your mental fathoming. Like your thought process, your conclusion, your hypothesis, there we go. When you go crazy, you can't handle it. Well, I can handle it, and I'm not crazy. I actually had a psych eval days ago. It was great. Oh, it's funny too, because I try to get them to lock me up. Like, I'm crazy, lock me up. They're like, nah, you're good, you're just smart. Fuck. Anyway, take her easy. This is a 15-minute video, and I don't like making them, but you know what? Hey, why not? EGNARTS, peace and love for life to all. Tip your waitress if they deserve it.